तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं नमामि। How to transform the life into celebration. In one word, somebody asked me, what's your message? Only one word, Anandamagi. Tamil, Kannada, Anandamagi. That's the only thing. English, be blissful. You start living in Ananda, you start living in bliss. That's more than enough. Nothing else is needed. There is anything more needed, nothing else. We do everything just for the sake of bliss. Story. Great king Alexander the Great came to India. And on the bank of Sindhu river, he met a sannyasi, an old sannyasi. The king actually wanted that someone into sannyasi should come along with him to his place, his kingdom, his country. So, someone sannyasi was resting on the bank of the river. The king came and first asked, please you come with me to my kingdom, my country. Sannyasi simply refused, no, I don't know anywhere. The king knows only his language. He removed the sword from the shield. He showed the sword and then told, you have to come, otherwise I will kill you. Then the sannyasi started laughing like anything. He simply laughed. He gave a good belly laughter and then told, you are a great liar, you can never kill me. I am the Atma, I cannot cut your soul. Nainan Chindani Shastrani, Nainan Dharati Bhava. Gita says, fire cannot burn it, weapons cannot pierce it. You cannot kill me. When the king saw such an integrity, anybody will have a little shivering in front of an open sword. And a man who is a sannyasi was nobody. But even if he is killed, there is nobody to even ask why he has been killed. Such a man, but speaks with such a courage and boldness in front of an open sword. Many of us will speak everything, not in front of open sword. In front of open sword, that also a great king who can do anything. Then the king saw the integrity of it. Sannyasi was taken back and very beautifully asks, you are not afraid? I am seeing the first time a man who is not afraid of my sword. Sannyasi was not only not afraid, even his breath did not become faster. Even his breath was calm, quiet, collective, continuous, as it used to be. What does the king is asking the sannyasi? How you are so courageous? You are not fear. What is happening? Some enquiry started. The Sannyasi is asking him, what for you are come here? To conquer India. What you are going to do afterwards? I will go to the next country and conquer it. Afterwards, I am going to go to Afghan and conquer it. After conquering, he was continuously telling one by one country's name. Finally, Sannyasi asked, after conquering everything, what will you do? I will just rest and relax and enjoy my life. Sannyasi beautifully told, that is what I am doing now. That is the same thing I am doing now. Even without conquering, without having all the trouble which you are undergoing, that is what I am doing. So, all our trials, all our fightings, all our wars, even all our meditation practices are also only towards how to be Ananda, how to attain Ananda. Almost our meditation is nothing but war. Maybe the war is between some two persons. It is between us and us. It is between ourselves and ourselves. So you can use for the first self small letter and next self capital letter. That's all. It is a war only. All our meditation, all our spiritual practices, whatever we do, not only spiritual, whatever we do in outer world and inner world, all are aimed at Ananda, aimed at how to be happy, how to be blissful. The question basically how to be blissful. I think this is the frequently asked question. How to be happy? How to be blissful? The question which is asked more times than anything else. Ananda is our kingdom. It is our own. So how to be happy? You can never answer it. All the answers for the question how to be happy only will be impractical. Because question is impractical. Question itself is something basically wrong. How to allow the happiness to come out? How you have lost the happiness? That is the right question. How you have lost it? Not how to be happy. You cannot create happiness. You cannot create Ananda. Whatever is created will not withstand, will not long last. If it is created, how long it is going to be? How long it is going to be? If Ananda is created through outer factors, it is not going to last for so much. It is not going to last. It is going to last only for a few minutes or few hours. So it is not Ananda, it is way to dukkha. Because when you stop getting it, immediately dukkha comes. It is way to dukkha, it is not way to Ananda or it is not Ananda. So, then what is Ananda? The question about Ananda can be only one. How you have lost it. That question can be actually answered. How to be, how to attain cannot be, because you are already that. How you have lost it? Only one key. Have the key, this key. Guilty consciousness. This is the only one word. My all these 6 days lecture, whatever my message, I am just putting in few words. You can take the essence of my message. Essence of my message is be blissful. How to get it? Grasp your guilty consciousness. Guilty consciousness. Whatever we do, either it is good or bad, whatever our life, whatever happens, much connected with the idea, with the guilty consciousness. The Sanatana Dharma. It beautifully declares, Amrutasya Putra, you are the son of immortality. Our mind, so much filled with guilty consciousness. Almost all our problems, all our dukkha, and then you start feeling guilty about it. First you do something, and then you start feeling guilty about it. You will be doing the same mistake. You will be again becoming angry as deeply you feel guilty. If you feel deeply guilty, within few hours you will be getting the same anger again. If you feel less guilty, you will be getting the angry only after a few days. If you feel more guilty, if you just try to punish your mind, or you just try to instruct your mind that I should not be angry, I should not get anger, I should not. That is the energy which makes the whole samsara chakra to rotate. Please be very clear. Anybody mechanical engineer? Crankshaft. Crankshaft. In the engines will be there. The arm of the crankshaft movement will be taken care by the piston, and the other half will be taken care by the shaft itself. The shaft's own weight. The same way, the samsara chakra also rotates. Arm of the samsara chakra is moved by your deed, angry, or your lustful act, or your krodha, or your kama, whatever. The other half is run by guilty consciousness. So samsara chakra, if you want to stop the samsara chakra, what I mean by samsara chakra is, if you want to stop your dukkha, if you want to drop your dukkha, first drop your guilty consciousness. Yeah. I will study some meditation under you. The sannyasi allowed him. Alright, you stay with me. After some 10 to 20 days, the sannyasi came to know that his disciple is not a disciple, he is a thief. He has stolen something somewhere and escaped from there and came and stayed with him. And he is feeding the thief. When the sannyasi came to know that he was giving food and was giving shelter to a thief, the voice came from heaven and told, "You idiot, I am feeding him for 30 years. You are only feeding for 30 days. Do you feel guilty for that? I am myself feeding him for 30 years. You have fed only for 30 days. You egoistic, you are not worthy for meditation." See the word beautifully. I am accepting. When existence, when God, when Parashakti can accept us, who are these so-called people, so-called moralists, to implant guilty consciousness in you? So, whatever the so-called morals, whatever social structures, all these rules are created just for the sake of society's smooth running. But we people associate the social laws with our spiritual laws. We get confused. When we get confused with the social laws and spiritual laws, a great enemy who is called guilty enters in our being. If the guilty enters into your being, be very clear, dukkha will start 24 hours. There are few people who come to me and say, "Swamiji, even without any reason I simply feel depressed always." You know the whole survey is done in internet. What is the greatest disease of this century? What may be? Someone can. It is not AIDS, it is not cancer, it is not TB, depression. The root cause for the depression is guilty consciousness. We simply confuse the social laws with our spiritual laws. We continuously feel that we are you have done some sin or you have done some mistake. And especially many people used to come and tell me that even without reason I am feeling guilty. The reason is, in starting, you feel guilty looking some reason, having some reason. Afterwards, you try to find some reason to be guilty. It gets reversed. When you start your life, you feel guilty out of some mistake, out of some reason. After some time, you start being guilty and try to pick up some reason. Try to find some reason. So, previously, the things, you learn the art how to be guilty. And whether the reason is there or not, you know how to be. So that is the only state of being you know. When you know that state of being, it is so much invested. When you know only that state of being, so you try to pick up some reason. If you don't get any reason, then you start worrying. No, I have no reason to worry. You start worrying upon the reason that you have no reason. There are many people who always think, you see, there is nothing to worry, what to do. There are many people who cannot keep quiet, who cannot keep simply mum. You don't find reason also. They will feel depressed just because they don't find any reason or anything to worry, anything to brood over. Guilty. That is the greatest enemy of us. One patient came to me. If he takes even one ice cream, he will immediately start having the cough cold problem. At least he will have that problem for 10 to 20 days. Even one ice cream is enough. Then I asked him to sit, diagnosed. The energy supply was perfectly alright. He has no problem with energy. Then when I was talking to him, I was asking some more questions. Why? What is the problem? I told, what do you feel, what do you think when you before taking the ice cream? Then suddenly he remembered something and told, Swamiji, before taking that ice cream, I always remember that my mother, in young age, she never allowed me to take ice cream. She would scold. That face, the furious face I remember. My heart, from my mind I get the instruction, don't take, you will get cold. But somehow, then I immediately my mind says, no, that time she told not now, I eat it. After eating the ice cream, I continuously feel guilty. So the guilty is implanted in you at very tender age. All of us, all our personality is almost schizophrenia. We are all schizophrenics. Whatever you do, there are few people, when they enter into some new house, they will calculate whether to put the right leg or left leg. If you put the right leg, immediately they will feel guilty. No, I should have put the left leg. The Saguna. There are many people who calculate. The Saguna is nothing but a guilty consciousness only. Saguna, Jyotisha, all these things are byproducts of big mind. Man, a person with big mind only goes and searches, seeks all these things. How we became weak? How our mind becomes weak? It's nothing but a guilty consciousness. When you start feeling guilty, for example, you become angry. You become angry. If you feel guilty that I should not become angry, see, it is such a big mistake. You are continuously remembering the anger in your consciousness. You are feeding it That is what is told in Ramayana. Whosoever comes and stands in front of the valley will get half power. Whosoever comes and stands in front of the valley, that person's power, half power will go to valley. Valley will receive half of the energy. Whosoever comes and stands in front of him. That is why Rama killed him from a distance, from away from a distance. He was not facing him directly, just face. Hiding. Just like the valley, our anger is also. Our anger is nothing but valley. If you go and stand in front of him, immediately half of your energy will go to him. We are giving life to anger. Actually, anger has no positive existence. There is two types of existence. One is positive existence, another one is negative existence. This flower is here. It is positive existence. You can show something. It is there. But anger is not like this something positive. It is something negative. When you are unaware, anger comes up. Anger comes out. If you are aware, you cannot be angry. When anger comes, just try to be aware. Simply anger will disappear. It means what? Anger is just like a darkness. There is some darkness in the house. Can you say that it is there? Can you say the darkness is there? Can you say it is not there? It is something negative existence. It is not existing positively. To drive if it is positive existence, then you will be able to handle that. If you take one lamp, small lamp to the room, you will see the darkness will simply disappear. It has no positive existence. And the darkness means it can be defined as a darkness means the exact word you can find. Lightlessness. Absence of light. So only it is a negative existence. Anger is also a negative existence. When you try to fight the negative existence, you are giving life to the negative existence. If you try to catch your shadow, what will happen? If you try to bury your shadow, what will happen? All our trials to win anger is nothing but trying to bury your shadow. It has no positive existence. How can you fight with it? You are the man who is going to be defeated. So the same way, guilty consciousness is also as negative existence. With guilty consciousness, you cannot fight. When you are angry, again and again you will think, you will take a vow, 1,001 times, I will not be anger again. On this day of time, that day of time, your guru, whomsoever you get, you can promise on their head that I will not be angry again. If you feel deeply guilty, that's what you will do. You will take promises, vows. I will be a complete celibate in future. A man, we do the de-addiction project here. And in the de-addiction project, de-addiction after the meditation over, they will be asked to promise. The man says, Swamiji, I am 11th time promising. I am promising 11th time. One man came to us and told you, I have promised everywhere, anywhere, and everywhere. Wherever they do this de-addiction course, I go there and make a promise and try to see how long I am able to keep the promise. Only for a few days. All our promises are almost like this only. It may not be 11th time, but 4th time or 5th time. But all our promises, whatever is done out of guilty consciousness, again we feel to the same mistake. Because when you feel guilty, you give life to the emotion which you don't want. If you want to forget anger, you are giving life to that anger. Half of your energy goes to you. Just as you are sharing with Wali. He receives your own energy and fights with you. Then how are you going to win? It is impossible to win. So how to stop giving energy to him? That is the question. How to stop giving energy to dukkha? Only way, stop being guilty. And this ice cream story. If you look into each and every one of your activity, you will find continuously so many people are inside you giving instructions. Your father, your mother, your elder brother, your sister, your teachers, your so-called moralistic swamis, your gurus, all the society will be standing in you and continuously guiding you and giving instructions. Either showing the greed, exploiting your greed, telling that you will go to heaven, or exploiting your fear that you will go to hell. All our life just disappears in the idea of greed and fear. Out of greed or fear, the whole life we are wasting with guilty consciousness. Just today I was talking to Vice Chancellor. I was telling, what will I do going to Swarga? And he was very beautifully commenting, Swarga is the place for lazy people. There is no work. Actually, if there is something like Swarga, I have not seen it. If there is something like Swarga, I don't think most of us can stay there. Always simply eating some amrita and drinking some somvana, suravana, what will you do? And lying down whole day and roaming out here and there will be nothing else to do. Anyhow, let's not bother about Swarga, even if it is there. But our whole life is just guided by this greed and fear. Out of greed and fear only they put the guilty consciousness, they implant the guilty consciousness. You can just drop this guilty consciousness. You will see that you are jumping out of samsara chakra. You have taken the arm of the energy which used to move the samsara chakra. The arm energy supply has been cut. Then naturally chakra has to stop. When you stop the energy supply, naturally it has to stop. So, if you want to be non-violent, if you want to drop the anger, first drop the guilty consciousness. Then naturally, your personality will become holistic. You will be integrated. When you are integrated, there is no need for you to practice anything. You will become, actually your being will automatically radiate non-violence. There is no need that you should become non-violent. You should practice non-violence. You should drop anger. Simply you will become man of non-violence. Simply you will become a man of ahimsa. Simply you will become a man of no agni. Simply you will become a man of shanta. So the key how to drop the dukkha is nothing but how to drop guilt. First, throw all the vices which is continuously guiding you. There is a beautiful tale. One person came to Buddha and asked that I would like to have sannyas, that I would like to receive sannyas from you, initiation from you. Then Buddha told, go and kill your father and mother and come. I will give you sannyas. Nobody is able to understand what he says. That person asked, please give me more explanation. He told, go and kill your psychological father and mother who are continuously guiding you, who are residing in you and guiding you, who are not allowing you to be mature. Remove them and continuously making us guilt. Anything you do, everything you do, you will feel a deep, tremendous guilty consciousness. Any of you can share any incident which has happened in your life, which you feel the guilt. Even if you looked after perfectly, do you think that she will be alive? Do you think you can keep her till your death? That's all. Nothing else can be done. Then what is the meaning? The looking after perfectly. If you look into that subject, there will be no meaning. Whatever way you look after, even afterwards also the word will remain. I have not looked after perfectly. We will be having some idea of Savitri or some old ancient person's idea that there is some person carrying his father and mother along with him and serving. Some story which is written. We will be always continuously comparing. You see, the people who preach these stories, they themselves get caught in that small incident that they give. One journalist, he wants to go to, after his death, he wants to go to heaven. Somehow he died and then he had been to heaven. The gates of heaven, Saint Peter is standing. He was not allowed inside. He told, Saint Peter told, in heaven we have no news. Everything is safe, everybody drinks, eats, sleeps. We have no news. Only some 5-6 journalists are needed. They are already posted. Posting is already filled. We don't require any more journalists. We don't require any more journalists. You please go to hell. Hell is always filled with art news. Continuously. Somewhere or other, some art news is there in hell. You go to hell. You will find a good job. And journalists find a good job else only. Otherwise they create hell and find a job. Because they should have some job. You don't find a place. You create a place. They create a hell and try to find their job. So the man was asked, you create a job. You can have a job in hell. Then Saint Peter told, journalist told, all right, I will go to hell according to your instruction. But give me only one day time, 24 hours time to go down the heaven. I will go down the heaven. Within 24 hours, if I am able to convince some one of your journalists to get transferred to the hell, you give me that post. Otherwise, I will go to hell. Saint Peter thought, all right, after all 24 hours, you can give him time. He was given time. He entered heaven and spread the news that new magazines, new daily newspaper is going to be started in hell. He spread the news. The journalist knows how to spread the news. He spread the news that there is going to be a new magazine, new daily newspaper in hell. Whomsoever wants job, they can apply. They can go there. And journalists, people know how to spread the news reliably. They will not directly give. They will spread the news such a way. Somebody else will go and tell them whom he wants to convey. If I want to convey the news to you, I will not tell directly. I will tell somebody. They will come and tell you. Then you will naturally believe. So in that way, news spread all over the heaven. After 24 hours, he wants to keep his word. He is coming to the gate to leave the heaven. Saint Peter stopped him. No, you cannot go outside. Now here only one journalist, you are that man. All the 8 have escaped. All the 8 have escaped to hell. They are in search of their new job. They have gone to the hell. Now only one journalist we are having. You are that man. We cannot allow you to go there. Then that man who has spread this news, he started shouting, no, I also want to go and join that newspaper. I myself want to go and join that daily newspaper. I want to go for that job. Then Peter got very much angry, annoyed. You idiot, you are the man who spread this news, spread this rumor. You have spread this rumor. Now you are telling you want to go and join there. Then that man beautifully says one word. Yes, at first I only spread this rumor. When so many people believe, there may be some truth in that rumor. I want to verify whether it is truth or rumor. I want to go and see in hell and find out whether it is real or not. This is the same thing which happens with all so-called preachers and moralistic teachers. If you don't feel confident with your moralistic idea, just make some 10,000 followers. You will feel confident. You see, when so many people believe in my rules, my laws, it must be true. There must be some truth in it. To get your confidence, simply preach that lie. Beautifully Hitler writes in his autobiography, the lie told 100 times becomes truth. The truth told first time is a lie. So just spread something which is impossible. Just preach something, anything with which you don't feel confident. Just preach it for 10,000 people. When 10,000 followers are behind me, naturally we will feel that some confidence. Yes, 10,000 people are believing. They cannot be idiots. They cannot be fools. Now what we are supposed to do? Just testify the philosophy with which you are presented. Just see the truth. Even with me, when you listen this story, just see whether I am also creating the same 10,000 people. Just be very clear. Just be with an open eye, with an open mind. See whether I am also creating again the same 10,000. Or I am doing something else. Be very clear. I am giving you the torch. I am giving you the scale to measure me. Be very clear. That is what I am giving. Actually, whomsoever says it is right. What is asked a beautiful question. There may be some other Swami telling the same story. Yes, it is right. But take the scale and measure the person who gave the scale also. Who gave the scale? Just measure him also. That is not a thing. Teetina marathil purvai chepudadu annume idi. I mean, there is a beautiful saying. If you sharpen your knife in one wood, rubbing it, you can check whether it is sharp or not. In that cutting of the same tree. So you sharpen your intelligence using this idea and check whether it is intelligent, whether it became intelligent or not. Yes, your intelligence with the same tree, nothing wrong. My idea is just get sharpened. Then you can test verily, there is nothing wrong. Yes, what you ask is right. Even if I am failure, I will accept honestly that I am failure, but I will never teach that don't have a scale. I always say, have a scale. If I am not able to cope up with that scale, then drop me, not the scale. Please be very clear. If you are supposed to drop some one thing, some one time you may get into some contradiction, whether to drop the scale or drop the person. Drop the person, not the scale. Live on principles, not on personality. That is why our Sanatana Dharma, our Vedas are always apaurushya. It is not dependent on a single person. In the same thing, if they prove that there is no such person as Krishna existed on the earth, Hinduism will never get tumbled down. Hinduism will never fall. Because we stand on Gita. Even if Krishna doesn't exist, even if it is proved that there is no such personality called Krishna, the relevance of Gita with our lives will not disappear. We will be living following Gita. So live on Gita, not on Krishna. Live on principles, not on personalities. So when I say this story, when I say all these things, take everything and make a principles, try to measure that same person with that principles. Krishna's beauty is he lived according to his Gita. That is the beauty. If you not have lived according to Gita, you will drop Krishna, not Gita. That is why all our Vedas are Apaurushya. The Dharma, Sanatana Dharma, which is standing on principles, not on man. That's a beautiful thing. Vivekananda says. Many people used to tell Hinduism has no founder. Many people feel that it's a weakness. No, it is our great strength. We have no individual founder. We stand on principles. Even if somebody tomorrow prove that there is no man existed as Krishna, like Krishna, even if it is proved, there is no problem. In the same way, stand with principles, stand with the life, not on personalities. Because you will listen many stories, even after a few years, you will listen many stories about me. You will start creating stories because it is so tasty to create stories. Our tongues are simply aching. If you don't create story, if you go to some Swami and come back, and if you don't tell a beautiful, enchanting story, we feel that we are not satisfied. Tongue is boneless, and not only that, if you go to some Swami and come back, you should create at least few stories. Otherwise, how will you feel? How will you think that how will you feel satisfied? Ananda. That is the way to get Ananda. So, creating stories is the habit of devotees. It's a basic truth. If there is no story, at least try to create something. So don't rely on stories. Even with me. When I give you the scale, I say measure me also. Not that measure only others, measure me also. I am also measurable. So, any other question?
Isn't that close to Sikhism? What you are telling? Don't depend on personality, depend on preaching.
Sikhism is a byproduct of Sanatana Dharma. Who is Maharaj Guru Gobind Singh? He is a man of ours, he is a man from Sanatana Dharma. He is a Hindu sannyas. Guru Granth Sahib is filled with our Sanskrit literature. It is not written by anybody. Any of you know? The Guru Granth Sahib is not written by anybody. It is collected from many books. So, now we come to the point. The same way, there are many people continuously preach many things and try to get a big gathering and one free-statement. He was talking to me about how they are spreading the message, all these kind of things. I asked him, how do you feel your inner satisfaction? What do you feel about your religion? It's your inner satisfaction, not the outer things. Do you feel happy with your ideas? Do you feel happy? Do you feel satisfied with your life? He was telling me. When I started, I did not feel so confident. When I see thousands and thousands are following me, I felt so confident. So if the confidence comes from outside, if the confidence comes from others, if the base of the confidence is other, be very clear. Just like Heaven Hell newspaper or a journalist, we will also be running one day. So be very clear about the things which you have to work out in your life. If you take up the idea from the so-called Marxists or this type of preachers who are collecting a big crowd, and in India, any idiot can find out the disciples. If I have to tell it more boldly, only idiots find disciples. Sorry to tell that. But if you see in a deep way, if you see, look into yourself, look into your being, look into the science of enlightenment. What I said is little harsh, little bold, little open, but truth. Because truth always hurts. Truth always hurts. There is no other way. Truth always hurts. Anyhow. So be very clear, you are not running behind any journalist views. All our life, we are almost running behind some hearsay news. At least from now onwards, start living authoritatively on your own. When start living. Guilty. Don't feel guilty, don't confess. The idea of confession itself basically nuisance. The idea of confession is basically nuisance. There is no such thing as sin. Only thing that is told to the society. The society may break. Just for that, these people try to keep always this as secret. But I say, I trust your intelligence. Even there is no such thing as sin. You are not going to simply kill somebody. You have enough intelligence. Only try to awaken your consciousness and intelligence. Try to work everything with intelligence, not with fear, not with greed. Don't bother about the word sin. Vivekananda very beautifully says, to call a man as a sinner is the only sin. There is no such thing as sin. The idea of sin itself is created by the sinners. So there is nothing like sin. So first and last, my word is, come out of this guilty consciousness. You will be a new being. And then, main thing, will come to the subject. The coming out of guilty consciousness is the whole subject. When you understand that you are feeling guilty because of this reason and that reason, that's enough. The guilty will automatically drop. There is no other need. So, and another next one thing I want to tell you about gratitude. Almost all our life, we pray to God. We pray to God many times. All our life we pray to God. All our life, all our feelings are always, I want this, I want that. Many people pray to God. All their prayers are nothing to ask.
I want something.
I want something. There is one person, he is praying to God beautifully. Oh God, please give me 1 crore of rupees in lottery. I will give you 20 lakhs rupees. I will put 20 lakhs rupees in hundi. If you don't believe me, direct that 20 lakhs yourself and give me only 80 lakhs. All our prayers, almost like this bargain only. Please believe me, I will put 20 lakhs in your hundi. If you don't believe, deduct that 20 lakhs and give me only 80 lakhs. Almost all our prayers, all our relation with God is only a business. All religion is only a business. Yesterday, as I told you, there are 2 ways of life. Only 2 ways of life in the whole world. Right side, a big list, what are the things which you have? Things which you have. Left side, make a big list, the things which you don't have. You don't have, you can make a big list. Immediately you will start writing. Starting from Rolls-Royce car. And left side, you can have a big list. Starting from your pen, pencil, jewels, you can have a big list. Both are infinite. This side also infinite. And this side also infinite. It is our choice whether to be happy looking at this side or to be sad looking at this side. As a life is only 2. Living can be only in 2 ways. One is looking at this side or one is looking at that side. Dakshinachara or Vamachara. I use the word for this. Right-handed religion, left-handed religion. As the way of life is only 2. Religion is also only 2. There is no other religions. Religions are only 2. One is religion-oriented prayer. The prayer-oriented religions. Religion oriented on prayer. Another one is religion based on meditation. The left-handed religion, people who are continuously asking, who are sad, sorrow, morose, serious, sick, they go on praying, begging, bargaining, business, making business contract with God. Their religion is based, oriented on prayer. The next part, who are continuously happy, blissful, satisfied, contented, based on meditation. There is only two kinds of religion in the whole world. All the religions can be classified in these two categories. Is there any more category? All these things you can classify with these two levels. In the prayer level or the meditation level. In these two levels you can classify all the major religions. The person who are continuously asking, the person is continuously happy. It is our choice whether to look at this side or this side. A man who is meditation oriented will not be prayer oriented. The religion of prayer is for mass. The religion of asking is for mass. The religion of gratitude is for selected few who are enlightened. That is why the religion of meditation, religion of gratitude never spread all over the world. It is very few individuals who feel gratitude to the Parashakti, to the existence. We always pray to God, please give me a ring. We never pray gratitude to God, you have given me finger. We pray to God asking for a ring. Do we pay respect or gratitude to Him that you have given me finger? Do we? Very few. And only one day to try to live without the thumb finger. Only one day, 24 hours you try to live without using this thumb finger. What will be the life? And only one day you try to live without having eye. Just keep close the eyes and try to live. Have we paid any gratitude to the Parashakti, to the existence? No. But we continuously pray, sometimes it is cold and take a photograph and break. Many people do this. But do we pay our gratitude? We simply take it for granted. Whatever He has given, we take it for granted and go for acquiring for something more. There is only two ways of religion and two ways of life. Whether to decide this side or that side is up to you. Whether to follow the side of prayer or follow the side of gratitude, meditation. If you want to have a deep live connection with the reality, with existence, with Parashakti, the only way is having gratitude. Ramakrishna used to tell a beautiful story. One person was accommodated in one big Raja's guest house. And then that man came, the man who is accommodated in the guest house, came and told the Raja, I did not have a light in my house, in my room, the fan was not running. He complained something. Then immediately the Raja told his minister, remove this idiot, remove this fellow. I have given him guest house, that itself is a big thing. But he is asking for all these things, remove him. After a few days, another person came and stayed. He came to the king and told, oh king, so beautiful guest house you have given me, so good house, I am very happy, you are helping me in a beautiful way. The king called the minister, told, check whether he has got any problem, go and verify, clear all the problems, and give him some more comfort, provide the best possible comfort. Am I right? This is the same thing happens with everything, with existence. When you are loving, flowing, paying the gratitude to the Parashakti, you will see a live connection is happening between you and that Shakti. And we all will practice now. When I finish this, we will practice. 5 minutes we will sit and pay gratitude, pay our gratitude to the Parashakti. Whatsoever He has given. You will feel that tremendous energy flow is starting with Him. You will feel that you are fulfilled, as if you have reached the end. Because we never did this, we do not know the taste of the gratitude. We do not know the taste of a real prayer. If you want to have a real living connection with existence, never go for praying, go for paying the gratitude. Just give your gratitude. Then you will start having a real live connection. As it happens in the king's story. Are you able to understand the medium king? So, at least today, now 1 hour, 1.5 hours, we are going to be here. This 1.5 hours, we will forget all our worries. We will forget whatever we don't have. We will not look into the left side. We will look into the right side. Let us decide for this 1.5 hours. Afterwards, it is up to you to decide. Now, at least for my sake, because all these 6 days I have spoken to you all. So just for my sake, let us do this practice as a trial. Of course, there are many questions will arise. If I don't look at all about my needs, what will happen to my family? What will happen to my future? If I don't worry about my worries, what will happen to my wife? What will happen to my... all your questions are there, true, you have to worry. But for this, just for this 1.5 hours, you just turn towards my side, keeping all these questions aside. If you don't worry this 1.5 hours, do you think that your shop will be closed? Do you think that your business will be collapsed? Do you think that your wife will die? Any of you? If you can give me the 1.5 hours, your life will be disturbed. Anybody is there? No. I think you can give me this 1.5 hours. You can give me now? Anybody who is not able to give? Anybody who says that I won't be able to give? Now everybody can give. So this 1.5 hours, keep aside all these nonsense questions. That if I don't worry about my life, if I don't worry about my wife, what will happen to my future? What will happen to my son? They all will be happy. Do you think that if you die, world will not move? It will move in better way. Never think because of us some good things are happening. In spite of us some good things are happening. Not because of us. One of the Swami who has written 3 volumes, Pramadeshananda, go forward. He has written 3 volumes of letters. His name is Pramadeshananda. Premeshananda, one Swami. He has written so many letters to his disciples. And this has been collected and published in 3 volumes. Go forward. The book is called Go Forward. In that one of the letter he writes to one Swami, Ramakrishna Swami, don't think because of you Ramakrishna movement is running. In spite of you it is running. It is not because of us this world is going. Please be very clear. In spite of us it is going. So, for this 1.5 hours, just keep the word bara from your head. Keep down. You may be carrying the whole world on your head all these days. But just for this 1.5 hours, for my sake, please keep it down. Let us turn towards whatever form you want. You can imagine. But pay your gratitude to the existence, to the Parashakti. Historical proof. It is not a historical knowledge, it is about concept of Vali. Yes, we can start. Close the eyes. You do it with feeling. And God has salary? No. Parashakti has simply given it as a gift. The life itself is a great gift. So living is more than enough to give thanks to the Parashakti. So the essence or quintessence, whatever you may call it, if you want to condense the whole religion, whole essence of religion is simply nothing but thanksgiving to the Parashakti, Nivedana, offering to the existence. So let us offer ourselves with full of gratitude to the Parashakti, to the existence. It is the man who says his capacity. If he says from authority, if he says very clearly, if the man is very clear about the things are happening only by God, then it is out of experience. If he just tries to hide himself, it is a hypocrite, then he cannot believe that word. It is to be taken, the word should not be given the same meaning if it comes from the different persons. From whom the word comes, according to that we should give interpretation. So now we will come to the next session of thanksgiving. We have shared, we have given our thanks to the Parashakti. Let us give the thanks to the all enlightened masters who have given us this knowledge of thanksgiving. Even the idea of thanksgiving, idea of gratitude, we do not know. Because of all these great enlightened masters only we got this idea. So for that we will pay gratitude. Instead of worrying about worries, we are paying gratitude for the person who taught us about gratitude. So as worries multiply, the gratitude also multiplies. I actually dedicate this whole course, the Ananda Yoga course, to all the great enlightened masters. Because whatever I said to you, I don't claim that I am the authority. No. I have plucked flowers from all the gardens of enlightened masters and collected and made it a bouquet and presented it to you all. Presented it to you all. So I dedicate all these teachings, I dedicate the copyright to all the enlightened masters. It's not mine, it is theirs. But one thing, I have seen all these things in my experience, so I am sharing with you all. So now, what for these masters have given all this wisdom, from Buddha to Shankara, many all these masters, Mahavir, Guru Gobind Singh, all these masters came into this earth planet. Ramakrishna, Ramana Maharshi, Ramadas, so many enlightened masters. They came into this earth. They visited this planet Earth. Why? They gave the great wisdom. Why? What for they came here? To make us happy, to show us the way, how to be Ananda, to be blissful. The message of all the masters is nothing but to be blissful. All they are teaching is only one thing. They teach be blissful. That is only their teaching. What else can be the reason of their teaching? You can tell me, what else can be the reason? So all they are teaching is concentrated only on one line, only on one word. Be peaceful. They are teaching different types of methods, techniques, ways, means to make you happy, to make you peaceful. So, if you want to pay gratitude to them, if you want to pay your thanks to them, what is to be done? What is to be done? Be happy. Be blissful. What they want us to do, just only way to give our thanks, to give our gratitude, to pay our respects to them. So now, we will do one kirtan, we will listen on kirtan. It's a beautiful kirtan. It is singing about the glories of Sadguru, praises of an enlightened one. In Japanese language, Osho means enlightened one, Sadguru. So this kirtan is sung on Sadguru. This kirtan is called Osho Kirtan, which is sung towards the Sadguru. Whomsoever may be your Sadguru. If you don't have anybody as Guru, make your Ishtadevata as your Guru. There is no need for any other different form. Whomsoever feel like is your Guru. There is no form restrictions. If you feel Ramakrishna is your Guru, Ramakrishna is your Guru. If you feel Sai Baba is your Guru, Sai Baba is your Guru. If you feel Ravi Shankar is your Guru, Ravi Shankar is your Guru. If you feel that Shani Devata is your Guru, Shani Devata is your Guru. Nothing wrong. If you feel Yamadharma is your Guru, Yamadharma is your Guru. So whomsoever you feel good as your Guru, just give up your gratitude. Pay your love and thanks to them. Remember them and be peaceful. That is the meditation which we are going to do now. The beautiful kirtan, bhajan, which is designed. If any of you want to stand, you can stand. Or if any of you want to sit, you can sit. But in a spread way. And allow this music to enter into your being. Be open. And allow this music to flow with you. Just flow with this music. Don't be rigid. Don't be solid. Don't be like a stone. Allow this music just gently to shake you. Just flow with this music. Just feel this music. And feel that music is not coming from outside. Music is coming from your being. Just allow this music to pass you. Just allow this music to enrich you. Just pay your gratitude and love with a smiling face. All through this meditation, this is called kirtan meditation. All through this meditation, throughout this meditation, keep a blissful face and pleasant mind and allow this music to enter you. If you want to clap, clap. If you want to just sing with the music, sing. If somebody wants to dance, dance. It's up to you. But just merge into the music. Just disappear into the music and feel deeply gratitude to the Sadguru, to the Master of your own being. And the music will stop at one place in between 5 minutes. That 5 minutes just keep a silence. Again the music will start. Totally some half an hour meditation. Entering into some new world and all. Just allow, if some slight current passes through you, allow it to happen. It is nothing but a pure, positive, spiritual energy. What I am going to do at the time is just I try to become a hologram. I allow that energy to flow through me. If something happens, it is good. Allow it to happen. If nothing happens, it is much more good. Allow that also to happen. Don't oppose. Don't resist anything. If something happens, let it happen. If nothing happens, allow it to happen. And whomsoever wants mala, they can have mala one by one. And don't have a fear that I may have, you all may have taken diksha from some other guru. That I am taking something new, I am entering into some new guru. Don't have a fear. It is not something like what you call a traditional diksha. And I don't make anything that if you have taken diksha, you should not take this. If you take this, you should not go to some other guru. I don't make any monopoly or restrictions. It is nothing but a pure energy transfer, Shakti path to you, to encourage you into the path of meditation, to give you the positive energy, positive support into your inner world, into your inner search. So, this is afterwards, whatever name of you can come and have Shakti path and go and sit in your place. And when you receive that Shakti path, when you receive that energy, when your Ajna is being touched, whatever happens, just allow it to happen. If you feel like crying, just cry. If you Just be blissful. So all of you understood what we are going to do? This is what is called celebration. Just having a celebrative mood, gratitude mood, grateful to the Parashakti, to the something far more, far rich, far intense, far developed. So let us try to have a deep communion with the Parashakti, with Sadguru's energy. Be blissful. Anandavagiri. Surrender your whole being to the Parashakti. Offer yourself as a Purnahati into Parashakti. Itah purvam prana buddhi deha dharmadhikarato jagrat swapna sushutyavastasu manacha vacha karmana yagyam yasmritam yakritam yaduktam tatsarvam brahmarpanam.